Okay, so we are now starting lesson number one, which is about the introduction. So what it is about the PMP itself. What is a PMP course? How it is structured? What is there for you to learn? How you can start learning? How you can begin your journey on this certification, which is called a project management professional. Uh, This one, it's got a lot of stuff there in terms of offering, because it's offered by PMI, which is Project Management Institute, one of the leading organization in project management research domain. They have been in the market for almost 50 years. It's a long time, 5 decades. They got enough experience to help you to become a professional. I did my PMP, by the way, back in 2011. Um, and, I was thinking the same, sailing in the same boat where I wanted to really grow my career. I was working as a project manager, but without any formal certification. And somebody advised me to go for PMP so that I can get a professional certification. I didn't know the value. I was thinking maybe it's just an ordinary certification. But the moment I cracked this exam, I realized the value, and not just for the exam's sake, but also the value that you get in terms of understanding this project management domain as a domain which can guide you in your career, which can help you to become professional in your actions. So so I did the same thing, and it really worked for me. It showed that I can really make this my career and formally. And then ever since, I've not stopped. I've continued my journey in terms of getting more certifications. I've got currently five of them, and I'm also certified as a trainer for teaching PMP, for teaching project management, which is not really, everybody cannot teach this unless you have really experience, practical experience, you have qualified the exams. And that's the reason I really like PMI. I'm very fond of their research, the way they structure things. Uh, so, uh, so that's the reason this lesson gives us heads up about the course, about the certification, about the exam if you wish to go for it. And before even going into the details of the course, you need to really understand the structure and all that initial understanding. So what you need to start with, you need to understand the exam content outline document. That's the first thing that you need to start with. The exam content outline is a document that gets updated every 3 to 4 years, that is research based. And it includes what you need to understand in order to qualify this exam. It includes the outline that helps you to get into the mode of what knowledge and experience you need to gain in order to get this exam qualified. So that's the reason you need to get well on understanding this document, understanding how it is structured, and understanding the basics of your project management. This will create a lot of curiosity in you because you need to then understand what is the actual content and what are the things that I need to learn. Let's take an example. The entire course is structured in these lessons which I showed you. Lesson number one talks about the one which we are currently talking about. This is about introduction. Lesson two talks about a big picture, domains, life cycle, governance. Then it follows with the lesson number three, which is about stakeholders, vision, communications. And then you have the lesson number 4, which talks about conflict and knowledge. Lesson number 5 talks about core planning. Part 2 is about lesson number 6, which is integrated planning, and then execution, monitoring, and understanding the challenges. And then finally, lesson 8 talks about business environment, talks about continuous improvement of your project management domain. And then finally, lesson 9 summarizes and it concludes your project management course in a sense that what exactly you need to then go back to the basics and understand where you stand and how you proceed now to the next level of your PMP exam. So this is the entire course structure. Also, you have been given the list of documents that you need to refer. You have been you will be provided all the training material that is required that I'm showing you right now. All this can be accessed. You will have access, but you need to also understand there are icons there like predictive, adaptive, and hybrid. There are icons like important instructions, interactive discussions. There are also some definitions you need to understand. So there is a terminology that you need to follow. And also, when it comes to certification, PMP is a globally recognized certification. It's not just limited to one country. If you are going for PMP, you will be recognized as a global, you will be acknowledged with skills in project management, skills in understanding how you run projects and understanding business, for example. Because this certification does not only teach you project management, it talks also about business, understanding business environment. Yes, Alexa.
I understood that actually the certificate it needs to be renewed each 2 years. Am I right?
3 years, 3 years.
3 years. Okay. Thank you.
And renewal does not need you to go for exam again, which is the case in other certifications. Some certifications ask you to go for renewal but renewal follows with the exam. In this one,
Okay.
you don't have to go for exam. Exam is only one time. Rest is the
Okay.
renewal. And renewal is a very simple process. It's not really complicated.
Super.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are talking about what is the certification? Why do you need to really go for it? What's the benefit for you? So there are actually multiple benefits. It gives you, if you are a PMP, by the way, how many people all over the world? Have you got any idea how many people have qualified this exam all over the world? Any guesses?
No. Millions, most probably. Couple
You are very close. You are very close.
of.
It is,
I took a guess. Yeah.
yes, yes, good guess. It's 1.6 million people all over the world. So you will enter that club once you qualify it. And I remember when I did my exam, it was almost zero point 0.4 million back in 2011. So you can see the growth rate. It's very, very fast growing. People are coming forward and people want to know about the certification. They want to, get it done. So you will have that ability. You will demonstrate to lead projects without being, this certification is a very neutral certification, which means if you come from construction industry, if you come from oil and gas industry, if you come from IT industry, it really doesn't matter because the skills that you gain through this certification is irrelevant to the industry because it's a neutral certification. That means if you are a PMP, you should be able to lead projects in any industry. Doesn't really matter because you possess that skill set. And it's not a myth because I had the same, when I did my exam, I was thinking it might help me to become professional in my industry. But when I realized the entire PMP is structured in a way that it does not really link anything to your industry. It relates to every industry. And that's the beauty of the certification. Because you come from any background, it fits the purpose. So that's why you don't need to limit your certification to your industry only. It can go to and fit in the context of any industry whichever you are working in. Suppose, let's say you moved your career from one industry to another. Does it mean the certification becomes irrelevant? Not at all, because it fits the purpose, whichever industry your domain you are working in, it fits that. Okay, so that was a brief introduction about the certification. Now let's talk about the exam. Okay, what is the exam about? The exam is structured in total of 180 questions that you will have to answer. 180 questions, and you will get approximately 240 minutes to complete those 180 questions. And out of 180 questions, 10 will be pre-test and unscored questions, which means you will have 10 questions which they need for just for research purpose, because they want to do that, they want you to answer it, but they will not, but you will not have any indicator on those questions which are unscored questions. So you don't have to worry about that. All you need to do is prepare yourself for 180 questions rather than thinking I have only 170 to answer, because PMI does not give us that option where you could easily figure out uh, a, a pre-test or unscored question. So it's better not to really go with that logic or that mindset where you think about only 170. So better be on the safer side. It is about 180 questions. And you can also think about the way that you don't have any penalty for any wrong answers. So it's better to answer if you don't know the answer, because that will allow you at least take that chance whether you are going to get the marks for that question, because you don't have a negative marking, no penalty for wrong answers. You will also get 10 minutes break. Each one will be 10 minutes, but there are conditions. You need to at least finish 50% of your exam before you take a break. And you can't really open those questions. You can't go back to those questions and open them and fix them. So you have to be very careful when you take a break. Uh, and once you submit that 50% of your exam, you cannot go back. You have to lock before you take a break. So the lock will allow you to uh, take a break and then come back and start a new session, new section, which is rest of the exam. So this is the scoring and breaks. Then you also need to understand in which what I said earlier. It is about what exactly are you going to be tested on. So it is about thinking of, okay, if I'm going for this exam, what is the exam content outline, how I will be tested in exam, and what areas I need to start with. So exam is structured in a document. There's a document called exam content outline, and that exam content outline document has three domains: people, processes, and business environment. And each of these domains, it is actually, the exam is divided into three areas: people, process, and business environment. And the questions that you will have, Most of your questions will be from your process domain, because that is the biggest one, 41%. Rest, it will be between 26 and 33%. And you need to be cautious about the percentage of your exam passing. Now, exam passing is not really revealed by PMI. They don't reveal any exam passing score, but usually based on the experiences that we have, it is roughly around 65 to 70%, which is for passing the exam, cracking this exam. But that's not officially communicated by PMI. They don't communicate this. It's based on experience people have. It's based on uh, the people have gone through the entire exam, and they realize that maybe between 65 to 70%, very much unofficial. But as if you want me to give you advice, don't really go for those percentages. Just stick with the logic that you have to crack this exam with 100%. You need to attain 100% to pass this exam. If you keep that mindset, things might be better, things might be clear. But if you go with the mindset of having only this 65 to 70%, then you may fine tune adjust your learning process. That might not work for you because you're new to this world, you're new to this domain. So it's better to put 100% effort rather than 60 or 70%. So that's my advice, that you should stick with 100% of your efforts. Yes, Lex.
Question.
Yes.
Regarding the questions which will be in the exam, is like everything is from the theoretical part, what we are going to learn, or it's more on the examples, and then you need to make your assumptions. And also another question would be if they're like you just need to mark the correct answer, or it's also like writing, you need to describe something or some situation, or make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I'll answer then. Yes, yes,
Thank
very
you.
good question. So, the answers. First of all, you said about the questions, for example. What are the question types? Now, question types are very much MCQs, multiple choice questions. You may have different types of answers, but you may have most of the questions are, where you have a choice and you need to correct the right answer. That's 19, almost 100% of the questions will have those options. But the structure wise, they will give you the different ways to answer that, like multiple select. You may have a question where you have two answers. So that means you need to choose multiple correct answers. You may have a question where there's only one correct answer. You may have a choice where you can have a case study or scenario, but then you need to answer the questions in the same way where you need to read a case study or scenario, but the questions will be either multiple select, multiple choice, or simply answer the correct answer. Sometimes the answers might be matching. You need to match two letters, you need to match two words. Sometimes the answers might be click. You need to click with mouse to get the answer. Maybe they will give you a graph. They will ask you to figure out which is the right answer on the graph. Maybe they will give you 4 points on the graph, and then you need to choose the right point, the right answer, and then that is the pattern they have. So the question which is related to subjective, where you have to write things and type things, not at all. You will not get such questions in exam. So you may have, let's say, scenario-based questions. Here, for example, this is the scenario. A key stakeholder requests a change after the project baseline has been approved. What should the project manager do next? Right? That is the scenario. Risk responses. During execution, a previously identified risk occurs, causing a 2-week delay. What should the project manager do next? Now here you don't have to type it, what your project manager should do next. You may be given the choices and you need to select the right choice. That means what you want project manager to do next. And also, what should the project manager do? See the difference here? If you observe carefully what they're writing, two things. One, what project manager should do next, and what should the project manager do? Here you can see the difference. This is about the next action. This might not be about the next action. It's a very written in a very generic way, but here it's very specific. That means you need to understand the next action rather than the general. So that's how they will craft these questions, and that's how you need to be cautious about, okay, what should I do as part of my, exam questions. Okay, so this is the basic structure of, basic exam structure. So I hope this answers your question. Any other things you have in your mind regarding
No,
this?
I think that was it actually, and it answers my question. Although I would have one more. So if there are multiple choices, right, for one of the questions, and you choose just partially, I mean, like from you have five answers, three should be
Mm-hmm.
correct, but you choose just two. It's like it's taken at least partially into consideration, or is it fully ignored because you didn't put the whole three answers?
Could be, yes. It could be maybe they will give you some marks,
Okay.
because that's not actually, there is no clear guidelines on that. But my experience tells me, yes, they could perhaps give you some marks. If there are three, four answers and you answer two and two of them are correct, then maybe you will get 50% of the marks. But again, as I said, I would not confirm it because there's no official confirmation
Mm-hmm.
on that.
Yeah, we should go on. Let's do everything and make sure we
Absolutely. The mindset should
discuss
be that
more.
I
Yeah,
need to do everything.
exactly. And then
Yeah.
we'll see at the very end what we will get.
Absolutely. I think that is the mindset you need to build, that let's not go for, find the ways to get your efforts less. You can maybe prepare for maximum, but how
Mhm.
much you get is what is your, exam is a day. It could be bad or good day, but that doesn't mean you are not really worth to go for next. You will have actually three attempts in a year time. They will allow you three times to go for exam, but every time there is an exam fee. But the attempts is, the maximum is three in a year time. Okay, so this is where, we end our lesson. So
Can
this
I
gave
have
us,
one more
yes,
question? Sorry.
yes, please,
Based
yes.
on your experience with all other students, what is the best timing after having the training to get the exam? I mean, okay, I know it depends on the people, how much do they learn and how much do they focus and this stuff. But for example, it's like we do the training and you feel pretty comfortable with it. Then you have, I don't know, 1 week learning by your own, and then you can make the exam, or like you should allocate more time for the study. That's more
Yes,
for
very
your
good.
experience.
Yes, yes. My experience and my advice is always, it is between 4 to 6 weeks. That is what I give always. That is the
Okay,
minimum I can push, and that should be
okay,
based on 2 hours a day studies.
okay,
Now, if you say, okay, if I go for 4 hours a day, and which will reduce my timeline, but I don't really recommend having, giving stress yourself in terms of learning. Do not take place. Learnings usually take place when you have really, when you absorb knowledge. Like today, if you are sitting for whole day, I usually don't recommend having a full day course, because then you need to be really well concentrated, and you need to absorb knowledge. But sometimes you don't have a choice. You want to finish the course and then start preparing. But if you are suggesting me, okay, what is the best suggestion? I would go for at least a minimum 4 weeks, the best case, based on 2 hours a day, 4 to 6 weeks. And that is usually the ideal time to pass. People who have passed first time, they have gone at least 4 weeks of post training. Once you complete the training, how much time do you spend? 4 weeks. Yes, I have met people who cracked this exam. They just got the training today, and next week they passed the exam. But they are there are not many numbers on that. The majority of people who pass this exam, I would say 80% of people who have passed this exam fall in that group where they have practiced at least 4 to 6 weeks and they pass the exam. Now, if you want to be exceptional, then maybe I will, wish you good luck. But you can try to get, unless you have really confident, your confidence level should be really high. But then again, we are not in that. I'm very practical, and I would not suggest anyone to go for exam in a week time after the training. At least 4 weeks is minimum, and maximum is up to you. And that
Okay.
is my expertise view.
And also I was having a question regarding the actual structure of the certification. So if you make the exam for PMP now, are there more steps, like for example for ACCA? Because that is something which I'm familiar with and I was doing previously. There
That's
are
finance, right? Finance.
Yes, yes, yes. There are different steps, like you do the first certification and it's an F1, then you do another certification and it's an F2. Is similar for the PMP, or is like this is general, like the basic, let's say, or where it starts everything, and then if you want to grow in this project management world, you will need to do more additional trainings and more additional certification, like more advanced, let's say.
Yes. See, what you need to do is you need to understand how you can start the journey of your exam. Let's assume you completed training today. This
Hmm.
training is a requirement for for filling up the exam or submitting the exam application, because post training you need to submit the application. Now, application requires you to have attended a formal training session, which is minimum 35 hours, and that
Hmm.
is approximately 4 days. And that means if you want to go for exam, you need to have at least 35 hours formal training online or classroom training, which is this course.
Hmm.
On top of that, you need to have education qualification, minimum high school, maximum it can go masters. And then on top of that, you need to have experience. So they have categorized all these for you to go for the exam. That means if I have not attended this course, I may not be eligible for submitting the application for exam, because that's the requirement for your submit application. If I don't have experience, I cannot go for this exam. If I don't
Hmm.
have minimum 35 hours of training, I cannot apply for the exam. So these are conditions that they have set up for you to